Oh, holy hell, guys. It's hot today. I don't know if you can hear that, but I have every fan in this place going. Whew. All right, let's do some more wiring. How you doing on this 90-degree plus day? And for those of you who are like, oh, it's 115 here. Cool. Little known fact, I hate the heat. Actually, I don't want to be cliche about it, but it's not the heat, it's the humidity. I can deal with the heat, but it is humid out right now, and it's disgusting. So, as you can see, I'm working in the front. Let me show you what I got going on. You saw last video I got my transmission lines run. I've been a busy beaver under the back end today. Main power, main ground. I decided we are going to use the frame as my ground path directly, not run a 2-gauge cable for ground up to, almost dropped that nutsert, up to the engine. We are going to ground into the frame here. Ground from the frame to the cab here. I like to have a good solid ground on the cab for all the electronics in it. And then somewhere up here, I am thinking I should probably grab my light so you can see where I'm looking, because it's hot. I'm a little bit delirious today. There we go. So let me get this in an area where you can see it. So this open stud or open bolt hole right there for, I believe that was AC accessories on the stock car. We're going to ground that to the frame and then ground another ground wire from that up to my remote jump start post. What I'm working on right now, this is my alternator wire. So I'm going to secure it with a couple of J clamps to these two front oil pan bolts and then run it this way, and it is going to join up to my starter stud. So what we are going to have off of my starter stud is this 2-gauge cable that goes to the battery directly, a 4-gauge cable that's going to go up to my jump start post, and then whatever this one is, I believe it's a 6 or an 8 from the alternator also on there. So this is going to be my main junction for power distribution, basically, from the battery. And then off of the jump start post up there, I will put the main power wire from the American Auto Wire kit that gives you power to your entire fuse block. I will, also, if I remember where I put my light, oh, it's over here. Also got our fuel pump stuff all on there and wired. So that is good now, mounted in there. That's my circuit breaker. It goes back to the fuel pump. And because it was just too hot to film, I keyed it on already with the jumper on my bus bar stuff inside. And the fuel pump does do its thing and prime and come on perfectly. So all of that wiring is sound. So now I'm just working on it to where I can crank it, which might make it start. But I also have to get the ignition wire connector for that starter, so that is also holding me up. But right now I'm gonna run all my power wires that I need to run so that everything is powered how it should be. All right, everybody. So besides sweating my coyones off, I've been wiring like a madman on this thing. As far as I know now, I have my battery connected to the starter, connected to the alternator, connected to my jump start post on both positive and negative sides. So we're going to verify that and see if my charger will start charging. So positive, we'll move it up that way, negative. I'm going to try not to lose these caps. All right, so I'm going to hook the negative up, and when I do, this should start charging. And we are charging. Let's just make sure. It's weird, that's not flickering for me, it's just the frame rate of that LED. Oh, there we go, we're charging. Good. So that means I am now connected front to back with my battery. I need to do a couple more small things. One is get that connector for the starter ignition. I think I'm going to temporarily just throw a spade connector on there just so I can proof and make sure everything is connected properly. And two is I need to ground out this ground bus bar, so I'm going to work on that now. We're getting close to the end of the day today. I have been dragging. It is hot, let me tell you. I don't like the heat, okay? I'm not one of those people that will live like an Eskimo and be happy about it, but I don't like the heat. Spring and fall, that's my jam right there. Unfortunately, spring and fall in Massachusetts usually lasts 2 days apiece, so I don't get any awesomeness in that. But let me work on getting a ground connection there and throwing a spade connector on that starter. Maybe we can crank this thing today? We'll see. All right, here's the deal. I am impatient today, so I just used my jumper cables for my ground down there. I did get a spade connector on the starter. I have jumpered our neutral safety switch up here. I don't know what's going to happen. We might start, we might not. It might crank, it might not. I will tell you if it does fire, I'm immediately shutting it down because I don't have my transmission lines hooked up into the radiator yet. Well, let's see. Oh, we have lights. We have fuel pump prime. Whew. There goes nothing. I love it when a plan comes together. Does it get any more first fire, immediate start than that? Holy shit! Whew. That is a weight off of my shoulders. Remember I said yesterday, or last video for you guys, small victories? That's a big one right there. Whew. Oh God. I'm gonna go chug a Gatorade right now and smile for about 5-10 minutes. All right, I'll be right back. Alrighty, well, that was awesome. Let me get out of the wind of the fan over here. I just got, speaking of wind, a second wind now, because something like that snaps you right back into it no matter how hot it is. I deserve a drink right now, but I can't do that because I'm so friggin' dehydrated. I would probably get hammered in a second. And remember how I told you my transmission lines were hooked up, so I didn't want to leave it running? Yeah, that's transmission fluid. So let me get some mats and soak that up. But everything is proven and sound now in my wiring. Now I got to get me some fittings so I can hook these transmission lines up. Let me clean this mess up real quick. All right, so here's where I'm leaving you off tonight. That was momentous. That was awesome. That means we're 98% done on the outside of the truck in the engine bay. I only have a couple things left to do. Obviously brake booster and master, steering column. The steering column on this one should be super easy. Stock steering box, just gonna go right down to it, no problem. Booster, same deal, not a stock one, but it's going in there. I believe we're doing either a Performance Online or a Willward on this because it's got Willward 4-wheel discs on it. Then just make a bunch of lines. Air intake tube, that's going to be at a later date. It's not a big deal. It's Holley, so it's speed density. We have no mass airflow, so I can run it like that if I need to. And then I just have to relook at how I was going to hook up all these AC lines because I forgot, because I did have it all mapped out, but I had it in memory. And then a couple of weeks went by because I got pulled off to do other things, so I forgot what I needed for fitting. So I'm going to redo that all again. And then that's good. And then, of course, my heater hose lines too, which I think, yeah, the heater hose lines were good. I just didn't want to clamp them on yet. My upper and lower radiator hoses are done. I just have to hook up my overflow right here. My steam port is done. So outside the truck is almost done. Engine bay, I mean. I keep saying outside, but engine bay. I still have to put our rear, my wiring is literally hanging from my rear axle. I still have to wire all that into my rear side markers, to our Alumacraft taillights. Wait till you see these if you haven't. They're awesome. I had these, we did these on McDreamy, and they're awesome sequential taillights. Boss man has been working on getting the black walnut bed laid in there, as you can see. We had to order another set of hardware because we were shorted some in the set that we got, so that's all going in there. And then there's a metric crap ton of interior. Oh, good thing I came in. I got to grab my light and put it back on the charger. I got to order what I need for audio stuff for the RCA cables and whatnot. I have plenty of speaker wire up there. And then I've got to figure out my runs. I think my RCA cables, because you have this gap right here. The box comes straight across. So I can bring RCA cables out and up through to the back of the box, which is what I'm probably going to do. And then just slowly get through everything. I think the first thing that's going to go in on this one, unlike most builds we do, is going to be the rug. Just so I can finalize all this wiring and get it all 100% neat. We have full-length TMI door panels that match the pattern on the seats. Pretty awesome. Same thing with the center console. Yeah, so we're getting there. It's taken a while, I know, and it's not because of any particular reason other than we have just a crap ton of stuff to do. I would love to just go balls to the wall on this thing and if I did that, I'd be driving it right now already. But unfortunately, we have other work and it needs to be done. We have more stuff coming in. We have a really sweet GT500 Eleanor replica coming in, I guess, too, to have some work done on it. More on that when that gets here. But I'm going to leave that off for now. I did order, so if you're looking for a radiator for your classic truck, classic car, ECP, Engineered Cooling Products. From what we were told, these are the guys that make the radiators for Entropy Radiator. And looking at this radiator and an Entropy side by side, which we have, 100% believe it. These guys are much cheaper than Entropy. So if you're looking for a radiator, get one from them. It's awesome. But I did order what I needed for lines to get these transmission lines hooked up. Also, we're on cardboard mode because we ran out of pig mats. So I just need something to soak up some crap overnight. We'll have pig mats by the morning. But these are half 20 inverted flare, and I got them with a 6AN end, and I ordered a whole new set of 6AN fittings that come with right angles, 45-degree angles, straights, 180s, bunch of clamps, and then I also ordered a second batch of the 6AN double hose line clamps because I like to run those on the transmission lines all the way up to keep them nice and tight and together. But all that stuff is ordered Amazon Prime, gonna be here tomorrow. Coolest thing ever. Summit can't even get them to me that quick. So that's where we're gonna leave off. And I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll put some transmission lines together and see what else we can do on this. Alrighty, welcome back. It's the next day. It's still ridiculously humid out. I can't wait. It's Friday. I'm just gonna sit in my air conditioning all night tonight. We're doing some function testing now. I did my ground to the body. I did it to the frame, to the bottom of the radiator core support, where my fan's main ground also is. So they have a good, solid ground. And I did my ground in the body to that bus bar, to the seat bolt. And now, as I said, we're going to do some function testing. So as you can see, my intercooler pump is not on right now. We're going to command that on in the Holley software and verify everything. Ooh, gauges are in too. Verify everything is hooked up right. All right, I heard the relay come on out there, so let's take a look. Yep, we are flowing. Now I'm going to command on low speed fans. Make sure those are all good. Yep, I can hear that. Yep, they are on. So in low speed mode, the way I do my 3 relay setup, both fans are now running in series through 12 volts. When I hit high-speed fans, there's a third relay that switches the current path that changes it so now both fans are running at their own 12 volts. So let's turn on high speed. There we go. Oh yeah, that's some high-speed fans. Should have no problem cooling this thing down. Nice. So, everything out here that needs to be controlled by the Holley is being controlled by it. The AC compressor is being controlled, a combination of the vintage air and the trinary switch right here. So that is going to control my AC compressor coming on. It's pressure dependent. And I have it set so that when my AC request signal is on, low speed fans are automatically on full time. This is also hooked into my high-speed relay, so if the pressure does build to a point where it needs high-speed fans, this will kick the high-speed fans on. And I also have it set for my low-speed fans, for whatever temperature I have them to come on. I have them shutting off at, we'll look at this in a second, let me turn these off. When progress flies, it flies, you know what I'm saying? We get rolling, or I get rolling, and we go. So we're going to look at my configuration for my low-speed fans and see how I had them set. AC kick. Oh, so these ones I didn't do that. So I'm going to do that. I did it on the GTO. I set it so they are coming on at 195, off at 185. And I put in a second trigger that turns them off if I am going 50 miles an hour or faster, because you don't need them there. I leave the high-speed fans on, because if you do get temperature up some ungodly reason at 50 miles an hour plus, when you should have plenty of airflow to not need your fans, my high speeds will still kick on if needed. So I actually have to go into my GTO, the 71 GTO file is what I have that set up in. This one I think I was just setting stuff up real quick. I didn't have it set up for speed. I do have it set up for RPM. So these fans, if you turn your key on, they will not come on until you are over 400 RPM. So you're not sitting here turning your key on, draining your battery down for no reason at all. And that's that. I am going to look up my other stuff, make sure my fuel pressure is reading and all that. None of these gauges are going to read yet because I don't have my CAN line going up to my splitter over here. I totally forgot about that, but it is ordered now. So let me go into that setting. I'll set these up correctly and then I'll show you how to do that. Alright, I'm going to show you as good as I can because the glare in here sucks. And there we go, that's a little better. So, probably can't read this, but I'm going to tell you. You got to put sensor input triggers, 3. Inputs to allow, inputs will, Jesus Christ, I can't talk today. Sensor input will activate switched output when enabled. You want that to be all. Now, up here, you want switched input triggers 1, AC kick is enabled. So, to make it so your fans don't turn on unless your engine is running, this output will activate when RPM is above 400 RPM. Now, this is your normal fan settings. These are the settings I like to use. This output will activate when coolant temp sensor is above 195. Then you check the next box, will deactivate when it's at 190. This is your speed one. This output will activate when speed is below 49 miles per hour. Check the other box and deactivate at 50 miles per hour. Those are the settings I like to use. You can change them as you want. This is also dependent on your thermostat temperature. With these settings, I know in the GTO, I run right about 195 to 197 constant. And my high-speed fans will only come on if I'm in stop-and-go traffic in, I don't know, 95 degree plus weather. But driving, it's always just shoots right down to thermostat temp, which is why I wanted to put a speed cutoff on the fans, because if driving is giving you enough airflow that you don't need your fans to be on, your fans become a restriction. The only thing that might change on this one, because the GTO is naturally aspirated, this has got the blower, and we have a big honking heat exchanger in front of the radiator, which is going to cause more heat to come through the condenser and the radiator. So I'm already trying to cool with preheated air basically. So I might need to adjust these settings a little bit, but we won't know until we get it on the road and driving. And this is a massive 4-core radiator, so I don't think it's going to have that much of a problem cooling anything down. All right, I'm going to do a couple more checks on this thing, save this tune file, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. All right, one of these days I'll download what I need to download to do screen capture, but just wanted to check a few things. Map is at 100 kPa, which is normal with the engine off right now, not running the whole 9 yards. Fuel pressure, it goes to 60, it slowly bleeds down as normal. I wanted to make sure that fuel pressure sensor was reading. Air temp, yes, this is what the air temp is in the shop right now, 85. My O2 is unplugged, so that is correct. Oil pressure, not gonna crank it because, as you saw yesterday, we'll spill transmission fluid all over the place. We have my boost gauge in here, mile per hour. So everything I needed to check to make sure it was reading right is reading right for right now, so I can close this laptop. Before I do that, actually, one last thing, my intercooler turn on output I also have set to not turn on until we are at 400 RPM. I don't want that running and killing the battery unless the engine is running. And other than that, once the engine is running, that thing is running full time until I shut the key back off. All right, so we're going to move to the back now. I am going to secure my wire along this harness all the way up to here. And what we have here is, if you remember, my reverse is now full-time battery power for our Alumacraft tail lights. Brown is our parking light signal. Green and yellow are our turn signals. Tan is going to my fuel level sender. And blue, I forgot to take blue out of the harness. It's not a big deal. We can just snip it back here and blunt cut it and blunt heat shrink it. Blue is if you had a third brake light option. They give you that in the American Auto wire harnesses. So all this, besides the tan's going to run right up on top of our fuel tank, but everything else is going to run back here to this connector that I have already pre-terminated back here to all of my signals that are needed for the Alumacraft tail lights, plus parking light signal for the plate light that's going to be right here once we get the bumper on here. So I've got to drop this tank so I can get to my connector up top and hook in the fuel level sensor signal wire, as well as just to run this harness out the back to over here. We'll also be branching our parking light signal, I forgot to add, out to our rear LED corner lamps as well. Okay, I got my main crossover harness between the two tail lights all loomed and tied neatly up in there. I've got my main harness that comes from the front to the back ready to go. So I'm going to drop this tank now so I can run this harness over the tank, as well as hook that tan wire. I need to do tan wire and a ground into this connector right here, into these two ports for my fuel level sender. It's all wired into the other side. I just need to wire it into that side. Ground, I think I'm going to just do a nutsert into the frame. The ground for the fuel pump actually comes back to the relay system, and I forget where I grounded it. It's over here somewhere. Oh, is it right there? No, I forget actually. Got me thinking. Where did I ground that? Do. I don't remember. Oh, there it is. Doi! So it's grounded right there to the frame. So let me drop this tank and start running some wires over it, and then really all we have to hook up is I got to grab another 4-pin MetroPack connector, and we have 3 wires. We have 5 wires, sorry. We have main power, directionals, parking lights, and then I have to make a ground. There is a ground in here already on the end to ground back here somewhere. And then we can, I can at least put the parking lights on and put power to the stop switch so we can see that. As I have no column in this, I have no directional switch, so we can't do the directionals. Okie dokie. We have side markers installed on both sides. I have my leads run out. This is just some junk wire I'm going to cut and put an eyelet on it to ground out in there. So unlike the factory setup where your front and rear will wigwag between these, when you use LEDs, you don't get the reverse voltage option, so you can't get the wigwag. So these are going to come on and just be full-time parking lights when the parking lights come on. Now I am going to start the process of attaching all my wires into the female side connector of this 8-way connector and getting everything all wired correctly. I also did get the tank back up and in with the fuel level sender fully wired. So now that reads on the dash. That is the, besides the clock, which isn't a vehicle monitoring gauge, that is the only monitoring gauge on the vehicle that is not on the CAN bus. It is just strictly your regular mechanical gauge, and you can put it on the CAN bus through Holley. Don't quote me on this. I'm not sure on the Terminator. I know the Dominator you can. But we just use a regular sender. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to start on the wiring for the lights, and hopefully when I come back, stuff will be on. Alrighty, ladies and gents, it has been a chore, an absolute chore, but I am just a couple of grounds. See if I can find a ground in here. Where is it? There it is. Couple of grounds away from getting all this stuff on. So let me hook up my couple grounds, tie all of my looms up nice and tight and clean out of the way, and we'll step back and I'll make these taillights do taillight things. Well, alrighty. We are together. We are cleaned up underneath there. Parking lights are on. So I was hearing this weird resonance humming, like very, very minute humming noise. And I couldn't tell where it was coming from, and it wasn't there before. So I unplugged both of my main connectors to the taillights on each side, and the humming noise went away. And I immediately thought, I am getting some kind of weird grounding feedback issue, because the bed is not fully tightened down to the frame yet, because that happens when you tighten the bedwood down and you have your long bolts in the front and rear that go through the bedwood, the frame, bed frames, side-to-side rails, and then into the actual frame rails. So I did this right here, just gave it a ground off of my power probe, noise disappeared. So rather than rely on just metal to metal contact to ground the body of the bed, because everything is painted underneath this thing, frame included, I am going to give it a ground from the bed to the frame, just as I did from the frame to the cab, so that we don't have to worry about that issue at all altogether. So I'm going to make that, and then we're going to put it on the ground, and then I will show you the hotness that is the sequential tail lights on this thing. I can only show you the stoplight though, because like I said, I don't have a steering column or a turn signal switch in this yet. Hear it? I wanted to do this in case you guys wanted to know what I'm talking about, and that it's just not noises in my head. So when I ground this, because this is now attached to the bed on the other side here, this noise will go away. I believe it is backfeeding a ground through the fuel pump. May go away when the bed is fully tightened on, but why chance it? Just make a quick round. Alrighty, so what I'm going to attempt to do is jump all this at the connector for the turn signal switch and at least show you what the sequential stuff looks like on these. Hopefully it should work. We'll see. So first, we'll show you with parking lights on. Alright, so this should be one directional. As you can see, it goes up and just keeps cycling up. This should be the other directional, same thing, just on the other side. And then this should be the brakes, if I can get this to make connection with both of these at the same time. And this you'll see when the brakes apply, it goes up. When you release the brakes, they go down. Pretty cool. I'll give you a quick demo with the lights off too, just so you can see it. And then brakes. Pretty awesome. I love these taillights. I think they are the bee's knees. So that is that. Okie dokie. Did I also tell you like 6 times already? Check out that black walnut bed. With that being said, done, and shown to you, I don't feel like that is a lot of good progress in 4 days. So in 4 days, I got the entire engine bay finish wired. There was only a few things left. I got the interior, I'll say 90% wired, because the only thing left really is a brake switch input for the Holly, my emergency or my parking brake telltale that's going to be coming off the e-stop unit, which we haven't gotten in yet, and RCA cables for audio. And then I wired all the way back, which included fuel pump, fuel level sender, all the rear lighting, except for the plate light, because there's no bumper and no plate on here yet. But that's a lot. And it fired up like immediately, like it didn't even get half a revolution and that thing roared to life, which, awesome. Crap, I just realized my transmission line fittings are supposed to be overnighted in here. I got to check my Amazon order and see if it's here. They're probably sitting out front. I haven't had time to look today. But there's a lot of buts. I'm happy. It's together. It's looking good. It's sounding good too. We are one step closer to putting down 700 horsepower in a custom badass 1971 C10. I will talk to you guys later.